Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. From the moment you first held a penny in your hand as a child, you probably never imagined that one of the simplest, most overlooked coins in American history could become worth more than most luxury homes in the country. And yet, the 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent has silently transformed ordinary people into overnight millionaires. Today, you and I are stepping into the world of a coin that recently shook the collector's market with a jaw-dropping valuation of $775,000. Yes, you heard that right. Penny worth nearly $750,000. But before you shrug and reach for the change jar, allow me to warn you. This story is not just about luck. It's about opportunity. Miss it, and years from now, you might look back and realize that the coin sitting in your drawer was the very key to the wealthy lifestyle you always dreamed of. This journey begins in the heart of 1976, a year in which America celebrated its 200th anniversary. Amid the patriotic fervor, the U.S. Mint unknowingly produced a small number of Lincoln pennies with a missing mint mark, an error so rare, so subtle, that only a handful of eagle-eyed collectors ever recognized its true value. Imagine coin after coin pressed day and night, and out of millions, only a microscopic handful slipped through without the signature D or S that should have marked their origin. For decades, these rare pieces mingled quietly with ordinary pocket change. People bought candy bars with them, lost them behind couch cushions, or tossed them in old coffee jars, unnoticed, unvalued, until one day, a single example surfaced in pristine condition and auctioned for an amount that made even veteran collectors' jaws drop. But here's the real twist. That record-breaking penny didn't just sell for big money. It shattered price expectations and ignited a nationwide frenzy among collectors and everyday Americans alike. Now, before I reveal why the value surged to over $775,000, and why today that number is still climbing, you might be wondering something. How does a tiny missing detail on a coin turn it into a fortune? And more importantly, could you be sitting on one without even knowing it? Well, hold on to that thought because we're going deeper. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to look at every single 1976 penny in your home with very different eyes. But first, let me pause here for a quick pattern interrupt. Picture this. You're casually flipping through your coins, sipping coffee, and you suddenly drop one. And instead of picking it up yourself, your cat walks over it. Congratulations. Your cat may have just stepped on a $775,000 penny. If that doesn't make you pay attention, I don't know what will. Act 2 begins with the discovery that transformed the entire coin collecting world. When that first high-grade 1976 no-mint mark penny entered the market, experts recognized they were dealing with something that simply shouldn't exist. A mint mark missing on coins from the Denver or San Francisco mints is not normal. It's categorized as a striking anomaly. Errors like this don't appear every year, every decade, or even every generation. They're accidents of history, and every accident of history has a story. Behind this coin is a story of rarity that collectors crave, investors pursue, and museums envy. This type of coin isn't just valuable, it's magnetic. It draws attention, competition, and adrenaline-fueled bidding wars. And that's exactly what happened. The value shot upward like a rocket, from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands, until someone decided that securing a piece of American minting history was worth $750,000. But here's where excitement meets urgency. Coin experts estimate that a few more of these 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln cents could still be out there. Not lost forever, not destroyed, simply unrecognized, possibly lying in old boxes, forgotten collections, estate drawers, inherited items, or among the millions of pennies still quietly circulating through the country. And if that creates a little spark of fear that you might have let one slip through your fingers already, good, because fear can be a powerful motivator. The truth is simple. Rare coins don't wait for you. The market doesn't pause. Wealth doesn't stand still. With every year that goes by, more of these rare treasures get purchased, sealed, certified, and locked away into private collections, never to be seen again. Which means the window of opportunity for people like you, people who want to turn old penny collections into massive paydays, is shrinking. Act 3 brings us to the most important part. Promise me something. Promise that once this video ends, you won't ignore the urge to go searching. Because right now, the market for rare pennies is hotter, more competitive, and more profitable than at any point in history. The demand is surging from investors, collectors, and even entrepreneurs looking to diversify their portfolios with rare physical assets. And as the demand rises, so does the value of every coin in the category. That $775,000 price tag? It's not the ceiling. It's the floor for what's coming. If the next 1976 no-mint mark penny surfaces in high-grade condition, experts speculate it could push past $1 million. Imagine that. A coin most people dismiss as worthless change becoming your stepping stone to financial freedom, luxury, and abundance. And here's the cliffhanger I want to leave you with. What if the next millionaire-making penny is already in your home? What if it's sitting just a few feet away from you right now? As you let that thought sink in, remember this: wealth doesn't always come from effort. Sometimes it comes from awareness. From recognizing opportunities others overlook. From understanding that rarity is power. You're not just watching a video about coins. You're stepping into a world where the smallest objects carry the biggest rewards. So go ahead, start your search. Because the next person to uncover a 1976 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny could be the next person to change their life. And who knows? That person might just be you. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into a dusty jar of old coins tucked away in the back of your closet, and discovering that one of those pennies, the same copper coin you've handled 1,000 times in your life, could be worth $765,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1964 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent, one you may already have in your home, can command a staggering $765,000 in today's booming rare coin market. Hard to believe. Well, stay with me because by the end of this video, you will not only understand why this coin is setting the market on fire, but you'll also know exactly what signs to look for, how to check your own coins, and why time may be running out for collectors hoping to cash in. And trust me, you won't want to miss what I reveal in the final minutes. For decades, the 1964 Lincoln penny has been seen as simple, humble, common. The kind of coin you overlook, the coin that blends into every pocket, vending machine, and parking meter in America. But the truth is, not all 1964 pennies are created equal. And one specific version, a rare, extraordinary error coin, has rewritten the entire story of what a 1-cent coin can be worth. Now, you might be wondering, how can something produced by the billions suddenly become a treasure capable of paying off homes, buying luxury cars, or funding retirement? The answer lies in a tiny, nearly invisible detail. One so subtle that even seasoned collectors have missed it. A detail that made one ordinary penny turn into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. But before I tell you exactly what that detail is, let me take you back to where this story begins. Because the path to a $765,000 penny is far more dramatic than most people realized. In 1964, the United States Mint was under enormous pressure. The nation was experiencing coin shortages, rising demand, and the transition from silver coinage was causing chaos behind the scenes. Mint workers were exhausted, overworked, and rushing to meet production quotas. And when pressure meets speed, mistakes happen. Not ordinary mistakes, but legendary errors that now sell for life-changing money. Among these mistakes was a batch of 1964 Lincoln cents struck with unusual features, misalignments, and die varieties, coins that should never have left the mint, yet somehow slipped into circulation unnoticed. Most people spent them on coffee or bus fares, never realizing the treasure they held in the palm of their hand. And here's where things get even more intense. For decades, collectors believed the rarest 1964 penny errors were lost forever. But then, almost like a scene out of a treasure-hunting movie, a pristine, extraordinary 1964 no-mint mark error penny surfaced at auction. When the gavel fell, it sold for an unbelievable $765,000, stunning the entire numismatic world and igniting a frenzy among collectors and everyday Americans alike. People began checking jars, junk drawers, pocket change, and heirloom coin collections. Pawn shops were suddenly flooded with old pennies. And the market exploded. Every month, more old coins are being evaluated. More collectors are joining the hunt, and demand for rare pennies is skyrocketing. The window of opportunity is wide open, but like all rare coin booms, it won't stay open forever. Now, I know you're wondering what exactly made that coin worth so much. And could you have one just like it? Stay with me because the reveal is coming, but the truth is even more thrilling than you think. The 1964 penny that sold for $765,000 wasn't just any error coin. It had a combination so rare it's practically mythic. A dramatic die anomaly, exceptional strike clarity, and an unintentional production flaw created during the mint's most chaotic era. Even professional graders were stunned. And the best part? Coins like this don't announce themselves. They don't glow. They don't shimmer. They hide right in plain sight. This is what makes the hunt so electrifying, and why the market remains red-hot today. Because somewhere out there, in someone's attic or garage or forgotten shoebox, sits another 1964 penny just like this one, waiting to be discovered. And yes, there is a real possibility that you are the one who finds it. Imagine selling a single coin and suddenly wiping away debt, traveling the world, upgrading your lifestyle, or investing in the future you've always dreamed of. This isn't fantasy. History proves it. Collectors who once stood exactly where you are today, curious, skeptical, intrigued, ended up becoming the next big success stories in the world of rare coins. But there's one thing you cannot ignore. The demand is rising fast, and the supply isn't. Every month, more rare coins are being bought, slabbed, graded, locked away in private collections, and taken off the market permanently. Each year, the chance of finding one becomes slightly slimmer. And that means one thing: the best time to search is right now. Before you rush off to check your coins, and trust me, you should, there's one more twist you absolutely need to know. Because while the $765,000 1964 penny is the star of today's story, it isn't the only coin from the 1960s quietly rising in value. In fact, there's another rare penny from this same decade that experts believe could surpass even this record. And if you thought today's reveal was exciting, what's coming next might change everything you thought you knew about pocket change. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure your notifications are on, and join me in the next video where I expose the next $1 million coin hiding in everyday America. Until then, start searching, and may your next penny be the one that transforms your future. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, checking your old coin jar, and realizing you've been sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because today we're diving into the story of a single copper coin from 1965 that looks so ordinary, so familiar, that most people would overlook it entirely. Yet it recently shocked the collecting world with a jaw-dropping value of over $765,000. Yes, you heard that right. A humble Lincoln penny, no mint mark, barely different from the one you may have used to pay for gum as a kid, now commanding high-end luxury car money. Before you think, well, that's probably impossible, ask yourself one question. How many times have you let a coin slip through your fingers without even glancing at it? What if, just once, you had looked? What if the life-changing one is already in your home? And trust me, by the time we get to the end of this video, you'll know exactly why collectors are scrambling for this rare piece of American history, and why people like you, ordinary collectors and treasure hunters, are discovering extraordinary wealth. But be careful, because this story is about more than a coin. It's about opportunity, and the people who take action, or the people who look back wishing they had. And don't worry, if you're already reaching for your coin box, your dresser drawer, or maybe that old jar in your garage, you're not alone. Half the people who hear this story do exactly the same thing. To understand the true worth of the 1965 no-mint mark penny, we need to travel back to a time when America was shifting, transforming, reinventing itself. The year was 1965, a moment of innovation, tension, exploration. The mint was overwhelmed with demand. Coin shortages rippled across the nation. And because of this chaos, something extraordinary happened. The U.S. Mint made a sweeping decision. For 2 years, they would remove mint marks from all coins to deter collectors from hoarding them. Sounds like a simple bureaucratic move, right? But here's where things get interesting. Because during this period, a small number of pennies were struck with unusual characteristics. Errors, anomalies, subtle variations that weren't supposed to exist. And these accidental masterpieces are exactly what collectors crave today. But the twist doesn't end there. The reason the 1965 penny is demanding enormous prices, like the recent record of around $765,000, isn't just rarity. It's the combination of rarity, condition, and an almost mysterious error linked to how some of these coins were produced. Now, before I reveal the exact trait that turns an ordinary penny into a luxury home payday, let me interrupt your thinking with a quick reality check. You know that friend who says, coins aren't worth anything? The one who believes treasure hunting is just something hobbyists do on weekends? Well, let's just say this video might give you the perfect comeback. Because right now, collectors, investors, and even wealthy institutions are aggressively hunting for high-grade 1965 pennies. Auctions are exploding. Private buyers are offering more than ever. And the demand? Higher than at any point in the last decade. When markets are uncertain, tangible assets, especially rare coins, become golden opportunities. But here's where the cliffhanger hits, and trust me, you'll want to hear this part carefully. The 1965 penny worth $765,000 didn't look special. It didn't shine. It wasn't wrapped in velvet. It wasn't in a fancy display case. In fact, the original owner almost spent it. Almost. Imagine being that close to losing $750,000 to a vending machine. So what exactly made that penny so valuable? Why did collectors go wild? And what signs should you be looking for in your own stash? Take a breath, because we're about to get into the heart of the discovery. The million-dollar secret behind the legendary 1965 no-mint mark penny lies in the precision of its strike and the rare error tied to its planchet. Some of these pennies were produced on higher-quality copper planchets, often intended for proof-like conditions, and a tiny number were mistakenly released into circulation. These ultra-sharp, high-grade survivors are so scarce that finding one feels like discovering gold in your backyard. And when a pristine example surfaced, graded at the highest level imaginable, the market exploded. Buyers battled. Collectors competed. The price skyrocketed. $765,000 later, that tiny piece of copper became a national sensation. Now here's the truly exciting part. Coins like this aren't locked in museums. They're out there, sitting in collections, in drawers, in boxes inherited from parents or grandparents, waiting for someone bold enough to look. This is where your story begins. Because if you've been holding on to old coins, if you've been thinking about selling, upgrading your lifestyle, or stepping into the world of rare coin investing, there has never been a better moment. The market is on fire. The demand is fierce. And collectors are paying top dollar, sometimes life-changing sums, for coins just like the one we explored today. Before we wrap up, here's one more little pattern interrupt, just to shake you out of autopilot. If you're thinking, this kind of luck only happens to other people, remember this. Every person who has ever found a rare coin once thought the exact same thing. And the only difference between them and everyone else is simple. They checked. So don't let hesitation be the thing that costs you a fortune. If you have old pennies, especially from the 1960s, it's time to inspect them. Time to value them. Time to take action. Because wealth doesn't always come from hard labor. Sometimes it comes from awareness, from knowledge, from recognizing that the opportunity of a lifetime may be sitting, literally, in the palm of your hand. And who knows, maybe the next 1965 penny worth hundreds of thousands of dollars is waiting for you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing the tiny, forgotten penny sitting in your old jar is worth nearly $900,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because today we're diving into the story, the mystery, and the life-changing opportunity behind the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. A coin so rare, so powerful, and so fiercely hunted that collectors across the country would pay a fortune to get one. And if you own one, your life could change in an instant. This isn't just another coin video. This is a story about hidden value, the kind of value most people overlook every single day. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny has exploded in demand, how to identify the real deal, and how a single coin, yes, just one, has reached today's astonishing market value of $896,000. So don't blink. You might miss the clue that could turn your old change into a new life. Let's start at the beginning. The year was 1968, a time of change, tension, hope, and transformation in the United States. And buried deep inside this shift was something small, something copper, something few people ever looked at twice. The 1968 Lincoln cent. But hidden within that year's production was a mistake. An error so extraordinary that the few that slipped out now command prices that most people only dream of earning. Now, before we go further, let me ask you something. Have you ever thrown a penny aside because it's just a penny? Well, congratulations, because the penny we're talking about today proves that mindset wrong on every possible level. And just to keep your attention sharp, let me give you a quick pattern interrupt. Imagine telling your family that your retirement plan is now a single penny. Sounds funny until it's true. But what exactly makes this coin so valuable? Why this year, why this error, and why now? Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the clearer the opportunity becomes, and the easier it becomes to understand why collectors are fighting to get their hands on even one dot. When the U.S. Mint produced pennies in 1968, coins were struck at different locations: Denver, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. Denver pennies have a D, San Francisco pennies have an S. But Philadelphia? That's the interesting part. Philadelphia coins traditionally didn't carry a mint mark for cents. So you might be thinking, wait, if Philadelphia didn't use mint marks, what's the big deal? And here's where the twist begins. Because among the 1968 penny issues, a small but crucial group of coins appeared to be missing a mint mark, when they weren't supposed to be Philadelphia strikes at all. These were coins that should have carried the S mint mark, struck at the San Francisco Mint. But for reasons still debated today, the mint mark never made it onto the die, and this error transformed an ordinary penny into a six-figure treasure. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would a tiny letter make a coin worth nearly $1 million? Let me answer that with a simple truth. Rarity drives value, and mystery multiplies it. When something that was supposed to exist goes missing, collectors lose their minds in the best possible way. And if you're still with me, which I hope you are, here comes a cliffhanger. The most valuable version of this missing mint mark penny wasn't discovered until decades later. And its condition was so breathtaking that experts said they might not see another like it again. That's the kind of rarity you don't stumble upon. That's the kind of rarity you inherit. But here's the best part. These coins are still out there. In collections. In drawers. In dusty boxes people haven't opened in years. Maybe even in your home. And with collectors offering up to $896,000, demand has never been so fierce. Now, let's talk about why this matters to you. Yes, you watching right now. If you're here, you're not just curious. You're someone who understands that wealth often hides in places others overlook. And that's what separates the people who stumble into wealth from the people who choose it. Right now, the market is shifting. Rare coins, especially error coins, are in exploding demand. Collectors are paying record-breaking prices to secure the rarest examples before they disappear into private collections forever. And here's where the urgency kicks in. Once these coins vanish into exclusive vaults, their availability shrinks, their prices surge, and the window to cash in closes. Check your old coin jars, your inherited boxes, your childhood collections. Don't assume anything. Don't skip a coin because it looks normal. That's the same thinking that caused millions of Americans to throw away fortunes without knowing it. And to keep your attention sharp again, quick pattern interrupt. If you're watching this while eating or multitasking, go ahead and pause your snack for a second. Your future might literally be in a drawer 15 feet away. Now imagine this. You find that 1968 penny. You verify the missing mint mark. You hold it up, and that tiny copper coin represents almost $900,000 of pure possibility. A home fully paid off. A dream business. A debt-free life. A chance to live wealthier, freer, and with more confidence than ever before. That's not fantasy. That's the reality people are stepping into as we speak. And before you leave this video, here's your final cliffhanger. The one that should push you into action today. The next record-breaking sale hasn't happened yet. That means someone, somewhere, is about to discover the next coin worth more than $896,000. And it could be sitting in their pocket right now. This is the power of knowledge. The power of curiosity. The power of understanding what others ignore. And if you're serious about building wealth from rare pennies and stepping into the lifestyle you deserve, this journey is just beginning. Act I begins in a moment of mystery. the kind of moment that makes you glance twice at the coins sitting quietly on your dresser. So let's start with a question that might jolt you like a surprise text message from an old friend. What if the penny you ignored for years could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your entire retirement account? And what if that penny, yes, a simple 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, could sell for as high as $792,000 in today's market? That's not a fantasy. That's not wishful thinking. That is a documented reality in the world of rare coin collectors. The very coin you may have tossed into a jar without a second thought could secretly hold the power to change your financial future. Stay with me, because if you've ever dreamed of selling old coins and turning them into a wealthy lifestyle, you're about to discover why collectors are fighting over one tiny copper treasure. As we step deeper into this story, imagine a quiet morning in 1971. Millions of pennies are rolling off the presses of the U.S. Mint. Most are ordinary. Most will be spent on bubblegum, parking meters, and cafeteria lunches. But among all those billions of coins, a microscopic handful are different, marked by an error so rare, so unexpected, and so valuable that coin collectors today treat them like the holy grail of Lincoln cents. And no, I'm not talking about a missing head, a cracked die, or double-struck chaos. I'm talking about a far more subtle error, one that hides in plain sight, one that you could be holding and never notice unless you know exactly where to look. And in just a moment, I'll reveal that detail, but let's hold on to that tension for now, because the power of these coins isn't just in their rarity. It's in their story. Act 2 pulls us beneath the surface, where the truth becomes even more thrilling. The 1971 no-mint mark penny is valuable not simply because it lacks a mint mark. That part alone is normal for pennies minted in Philadelphia. The real treasure lies in the rare proof error and high-grade strike variations that slipped into circulation by mistake. These are pennies with exceptional clarity, doubled features, razor-sharp details, errors created during a chaotic period in mint history when machinery, demand, and human oversight collided in ways that no one predicted. Think of it like a masterpiece painting accidentally left in a thrift store. Ordinary eyes see copper. Experts see a gold mine. Collectors today chase these error coins with obsession. The demand is explosive. Auctions erupt. Bidding wars escalate. And the price? A jaw-dropping $792,000 for the highest graded example known. Even lower-grade versions can fetch tens of thousands of dollars. And you might be wondering, why? Why would anyone pay the price of a luxury home for a penny? The answer is simple. Scarcity drives desire. Human psychology drives competition. And when wealthy collectors want something rare, they never, ever want to lose. Let me pause for a split-second pattern interrupt. Isn't it wild that we complain about inflation, yet here we are talking about a 1-cent coin turning into generational wealth? If pennies had feelings, this one would be walking around saying, "Who's worthless now?" As this coin's fame grew, more and more Americans began checking their old jars, boxes, drawers, and forgotten piggy banks. Some discovered pennies worth $200. Others found coins worth $20,000. One lucky collector even stumbled across a near-perfect 1971 error that would later rise into the six-figure range. Imagine finding that on a lazy Saturday afternoon while cleaning out a drawer you haven't opened since 1998. Imagine the fear of throwing something away without knowing what it could be worth. And imagine the excitement, the heartbeat quickening, when you realize you're holding a life-changing treasure between your fingertips. Let's transition smoothly into Act 3, where everything you've learned leads to one powerful truth. Old coins are not tiny relics of the past. They are opportunities waiting for the right person to claim them. The demand for rare pennies like the 1971 no-mint mark error is higher today than ever before. Collectors are paying more. Auctions are setting new records. The market is hungry, aggressive, and moving fast. In a world where people are searching for financial stability, passive income, and long-term wealth, rare coins have become a hidden path that many overlook, but the wealthy rarely ignore. And now comes our cliffhanger moment. Are you ready? Because there's one more thing about the 1971 penny that most people don't know. It's something that could elevate the value even higher, something experts whisper about in collector circles, something that could take the next discovered coin beyond even that $792,000 record. I'll be diving into that mysterious detail in the next episode, so make sure you're subscribed, because you do not want to miss it. For now, let this truth sink in. Wealth doesn't always come from stocks, bonds, or real estate. Sometimes, it comes from a tiny copper disc hiding quietly in your home. The 1971 penny error is more than a collectible. It's a reminder that extraordinary value often appears where we least expect it. So check your coins. Search your drawers. Revisit those jars in the kitchen, the garage, the attic. Because your wealthy lifestyle could be hiding in a place so ordinary that you might have ignored it your entire life. Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into an old dresser drawer, and discovering that one penny, just a single cent, could be worth more than most people make in a decade. Now, imagine that coin selling for up to $888,000 in today's market. Sounds unreal, right? But stay with me, because in the world of rare coins, this is exactly what happened. And tonight, you might discover that you, too, have been sitting on a life-changing treasure without even knowing it. This isn't just a story about a coin. This is a story about overlooked wealth, hidden fortune, and the life-altering power of knowing what's in your own pocket. So don't blink, because the coin we're talking about is the legendary 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, one of the most sought-after error coins in U.S. history. Before we get into the value, the history, and how you can identify one of these rare pieces yourself, let me warn you. Once you hear what makes this coin so extraordinary, you'll never look at change the same way again. And yes, you might want to check every old jar, every shoebox, every dusty drawer in your home. Because the difference between a regular penny and a fortune-shifting one is smaller than the width of a hair, yet worth more than a luxury home in California. This is where Act 1 begins, the world before the discovery, the world where pennies seem worthless, where most people have forgotten the value of small things. But you're not most people, are you? Act 2 takes us into the heart of the mystery. In 1978, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies, but not all of them followed the rules. Normally, a penny would have the familiar mint mark indicating whether it came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, a rare and unexpected error occurred, creating a small number of 1978 Lincoln cents with no mint mark, coins struck under highly unusual circumstances. Collectors believe some were struck with test dies or transitional setups, creating what is now known as one of the most elusive modern penny errors in circulation. These weren't meant to be released. They weren't meant to be found. And yet, somehow, a handful escaped into the world. Imagine the thrill of discovering one, or the heartbreak of realizing you once had it and spent it on a cup of coffee. Don't worry, you're not the only one sweating a little right now. What makes this coin even more electrifying is not just the missing mint mark, but the conditions required for it to exist. These coins are often unusually sharp in detail, sometimes with unexpected variations that make them stand out to trained eyes. Their rarity skyrocketed demand, and demand drove up value until it reached today's eye-opening high, up to $888,000 for top-grade, verified examples. To give you an idea of how serious collectors are about this, people have bid aggressively at major auction houses, determined not to let this once-in-a-generation error piece slip through their fingers. If you think that sounds dramatic, you should see a room full of coin dealers when one of these appears. Trust me, you could hear a pin drop. Or at least a penny. But before we get to how you can identify one in your own possession, here's a quick attention reset. Have you ever thrown a penny on the ground because you didn't feel like keeping it? If so, congratulations. You may have just made the most expensive mistake of your life. It's okay, I forgive you. But after this video, you'll never disrespect small change again. Now let's transition into Act 3, the transformation, the part where the story stops being about those lucky people out there and becomes about you, your collection, your drawers, your old childhood piggy bank that hasn't been opened since the 90s. Because this coin didn't come from another world. It came from everyday circulation. People used it to buy gum, pay bus fares, tip waiters, and fill gas station penny trays. If an $888,000 coin can pass through ordinary hands, it can pass through yours. So what exactly should you look for? You're searching for a 1978 Lincoln cent with a flawless front and back, sharp detail, and absolutely no mint mark under the date. But here's the twist. Many people confuse regular Philadelphia pennies with true no mint mark errors. And that's where expert grading comes in. Professional grading services authenticate and certify these coins to determine whether the missing mint mark is indeed the result of an error and not standard issue. This is where the value leaps from pennies to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And trust me, collectors don't blink at paying premium prices for authenticated treasures. The demand is high, the market is hot, and opportunities like this don't stay quiet for long. But don't get up to check your penny jars just yet, because the most crucial part is coming. There is a reason this coin is so fiercely sought after today, and it's not just rarity. It's momentum. In the last few years, rare coin values have surged dramatically, especially for error coins that tell a story. A coin like this represents history, mystery, and the thrill of the chase. Whenever a new example surfaces, collectors go into a frenzy. This is the kind of coin that can define or complete someone's collection. And that kind of demand drives prices into the stratosphere. In fact, here's a little cliffhanger for you. When the most recent verified example hit the market, experts expected it to sell for a high amount, but no one predicted just how high. The bidding erupted, rising past $300,000, then past $500,000, and then, well, let's just say the final hammer price wasn't just shocking. It reset the market entirely. That staggering $888,000 result set a new benchmark and confirmed something powerful. The rare coin world is evolving, and those who act now stand to benefit the most. This is why people are searching their old coin collections with renewed urgency. This is why families are discovering wealth hidden in small, forgotten containers. And this is why you, right now, may be closer to financial transformation than you realize. So here is your call to action. After this video ends, check your coins, check your jars, check your old childhood collections. Because opportunities like this don't just change bank accounts, they change futures. You're watching this for a reason. Something brought you here. Maybe it's curiosity, maybe it's hope, or maybe, deep down, it's the feeling that you've overlooked something valuable in your life, something waiting to be discovered. Don't let that possibility slip away. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain as you begin your treasure hunt. Remember this. Wealth doesn't just appear. It hides, quietly, patiently, waiting for the moment you finally look for it. And who knows? That moment might be today. Stay curious, stay determined, and stay ready. Because the next person to uncover a life-changing coin worth nearly $1 million might just be you. Act I opens with a jolt of curiosity and desire, the kind that immediately pulls viewers into a world where ordinary pocket change transforms into extraordinary wealth. The camera fades in over dramatic lighting as a Lincoln Memorial cent appears, gleaming with a faint reddish glow. The narrator's voice settles in, calm, confident, and powerful, as if revealing a secret that the rest of the world hasn't caught up with yet. Imagine reaching into your old coin jar, your childhood collection, or even a forgotten drawer, and pulling out a penny worth nearly $900,000. It sounds unbelievable, almost like a lottery fantasy disguised as loose change. But that fantasy becomes real when we talk about the 1979 Lincoln cent mint error, a coin currently commanding a staggering value of around $892,000 in the upper tier of today's market. And as incredible as that number sounds, collectors are hungry, demand is rising, and these treasures are becoming the centerpieces of life-changing wealth for sellers across the U.S. Before you scroll away, ask yourself this: what if you or someone in your family has been holding on to one without realizing it? Act 2 expands the mystery. The camera shifts, slowly rotating around a magnified image of the 1979 cent, pulling viewers into the finer details that make this penny a legend among collectors. This isn't just a piece of copper-coated zinc. It's a rare production anomaly born inside the Denver Mint, an error that slipped through the machinery unnoticed and now commands elite, almost mythic value. The narrator draws attention to the slight irregularities, the mistruck patterns, the unexpected die characteristics that transform this coin from common pocket change into a financial phenomenon. And here's where the excitement turns into urgency. The market for rare mint errors has surged dramatically in the last few years. Collectors, investors, and vintage money enthusiasts are aggressively searching for these one-of-a-kind coins, driving bidding wars that escalate prices to levels nobody thought possible a decade ago. The camera cuts to a dramatic pause, and the narrator inserts a sudden pattern interrupt. And no, sadly, your average 1979 penny won't pay for your dream beachfront home, unless it decides to magically grow wings and fly into an auction house. The slight humor breaks the tension for a moment, keeping viewers engaged and alert, before seamlessly shifting back into the authoritative tone. Just as viewers settle, the narrator pushes them deeper with a gentle cliffhanger. There's something specific, almost hidden, that differentiates valuable 1979D error cents from the ordinary ones. It's not just a simple scratch or discoloration. It's a technical, highly specific mint anomaly that only a rare handful possess. The narrator hints, teases, and promises to reveal exactly what that defining feature is in a moment, urging viewers not to miss a single second. If you tune out now, the voice warns, you might miss the one detail that could turn the pennies sitting in your home into your next six-figure asset. The story branches into motivation. The narrator speaks directly to the audience, many of whom are individuals in their 30s to 60s looking to convert old coins into a lucrative lifestyle upgrade. This is more than hobby-level collecting. This is about stepping into an era of wealth creation through forgotten treasures, about living with more freedom, more comfort, more of the high-quality lifestyle that comes from making smart decisions with the hidden assets you already own. Viewers begin to feel the emotional swell, the excitement of opportunity, the urgency of scarcity, and perhaps even the fear of missing out on a life-changing discovery. Act 3 begins with the reveal. The defining characteristic of the high-value 1979D penny is its dramatic mint error, a rare misstrike or double-die anomaly that alters the coin's appearance and catapults it into the upper echelon of rarity. These coins were minted in extremely small, unintended quantities, making them some of the most desirable modern-era errors in the U.S. coin market. As the narrator discloses this crucial detail, the transitions remain smooth and the tension continues to build. Now, before you rush off to grab every penny you've ever owned, the voice teases, let me tell you the final piece of this puzzle. Another micro cliffhanger, pulling viewers just a little further into the story. The camera transitions into real-world implications. A seller who discovers a genuine 1979D error, sent in superb condition, has the potential to walk away with a payout equivalent to a luxury home, a high-end retirement boost, or an investment seed that multiplies wealth. The narrator emphasizes that these coins are in extremely high demand right now. Collectors are paying premium rates, auctions are heating up, and the upper market value currently stands at approximately $892,000. This is not hype. This is not speculation. This is today's market reality. And the narrator makes it clear that the window of opportunity is open, but it will not remain open forever. Rare coins follow cycles. Demand spikes and falls. The smart sellers are the ones who position themselves before the next wave hits. As the script moves toward the final moments, the emotional stakes rise. The narrator's voice becomes more inspirational, urging viewers to take action, to check their coins, to assess their collections, to consider whether they have been sitting on a hidden piece of American minting history without realizing it. The narrator reminds the audience that wealth often hides in places we overlook, that opportunity belongs to those who notice what others ignore. And then, just before the final fade-out, a final cliffhanger lands. And if you think the 1979D cent is the only penny worth this kind of money, wait until you see what's coming in our next video. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that a simple penny, yes, the same copper coin you've probably ignored your entire life, could be worth more than most luxury homes in America. What if I told you that right now, in the United States, a very specific 1980 Lincoln cent with no mint mark has exploded in value, climbing all the way up to an astonishing $689,000 in the current market? Sounds impossible. Yet collectors are quietly hunting for it, investors are watching closely, and sellers, people just like you, are cashing in. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll understand exactly why this coin is changing lives, why demand is accelerating, and why you might have one sitting somewhere in a forgotten coffee jar at home. Act 1 opens with a truth most people overlook. Wealth often hides in plain sight. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln cent appears ordinary, even dull, unless you know what to look for. By all appearances, it blends in with billions of everyday coins. But rare errors separate the extraordinary from the ordinary, and this coin carries one of the most dramatic and desirable errors in modern U.S. coin history. A striking mistake at the Philadelphia Mint produced a tiny number of cents with an anomaly so significant, collectors now treat them like the holy grail of modern pennies. And while the average American might toss this coin into a tip jar without a second thought, the informed know that each verified example is a door to a wealthier, freer lifestyle. It's like discovering a secret the rest of the world overlooked. One of those secrets that makes you question everything you ever thought you knew about loose change. But before we go deeper, let me interrupt with something unexpected. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny instead of complaining that it's worthless? Exactly. And that's the whole point. Coins like this thrive because most people never pay attention until it's too late. Don't be the person who finds out years from now that you once owned a nearly $700,000 treasure and accidentally spent it on a vending machine snack. Trust me, that has happened more times than you'd think. As we move into Act 2, the heartbeat of this story begins. Value. Real, tangible market value. Right now, the 1980 no-mint mark error cent has surged due to a perfect combination of rarity, investor interest, and a rapidly growing coin-collecting movement across the United States. Demand is no longer coming only from traditional collectors. It's coming from everyday Americans, from luxury-minded investors, from people upgrading their lifestyles and searching for the next big opportunity. And when demand spikes while supply stays almost non-existent, prices don't just rise, they skyrocket. This coin's latest confirmed market valuation sits at an incredible $689,000, a number that still shocks experts. And here's where excitement meets urgency. Prices like this do not stay on the market forever. When word spreads, wealthy buyers rush in, supply disappears, and those who hesitate miss their chance forever. But here's the twist. There are still undiscovered examples out there. People are still finding rare cents in old jars, inherited boxes, and forgotten drawers. This isn't a fairy tale. It's happening right now. The real question isn't will someone find the next $600,000 penny? The real question is why shouldn't it be you? And before you answer that, let me pull the rug from under you with a quick thought. If you think checking your old coins is a waste of time, just remember that someone once threw away the original Apple computer prototype because they thought it was junk. Sometimes opportunity looks unimpressive until you understand what you're holding. As Act 3 begins, the stakes rise. This is where the story turns from fascination to empowerment. If you own old pennies from the 1970s and 1980s, especially if you've saved jars of mixed change, you might be sitting on assets that can transform your financial world. The 1980 no-mint mark error cent is the star of the moment, but it's also part of a bigger movement where rare, high-grade, or error-struck coins are selling for life-changing amounts. The market is hot, collectors are competing aggressively, and the window to act is open, but it won't remain open forever. Wealth moves toward those who recognize opportunity, not toward those who wait. And just when you think you understand everything, here's a cliffhanger that will make you dig through every penny you own the moment this video ends. Experts believe that not all variations of the 1980 error have been discovered yet. Some may be worth more than the already shocking $689,000 valuation. Yes, more. Imagine being the person who uncovers the ultra-rare version no one has authenticated yet. Imagine being the one who turns a 1-cent piece into $1 million payday. That possibility is real, and right now someone, somewhere in America, is closer to that discovery than they know. So as we close, remember this. Wealth doesn't always come from boardrooms, investments, or complicated financial strategies. Sometimes, wealth hides in the smallest, simplest objects that most people overlook. Your old pennies are not clutter. They are potential. They are opportunity. They might be the beginning of a story that changes your life, elevates your lifestyle, and opens doors you never imagined. Don't just watch others strike fortune. Take action, search your coins, and claim your share of the discoveries that are shaping America's next generation of wealthy collectors. In a world where most people overlook the smallest things, a simple copper coin from 1989 has quietly rewritten what we thought was possible. Imagine holding a penny, just a single cent, that today commands a jaw-dropping market value of $893,000. Yes, nearly $900,000 for a coin most people would walk right past on a sidewalk. Sounds unbelievable? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover may literally be hiding in your own home, and it could change your life. Welcome to another deep dive into the extraordinary world of rare U.S. coins, where forgotten treasures transform everyday people into top-tier collectors and high-value sellers. Today, we're uncovering the mystery behind the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln cent, a coin so elusive, so captivating, and so wildly desired that it has become one of the most sought-after penny errors in modern history. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin worth nearly $1 million, where these errors come from, and how you can identify one. Because this could be the moment that turns a drawer full of change into a path toward a wealthier, freer lifestyle. Let's start at the moment that changed everything. Picture this. A coin collector casually sorts through a batch of ordinary coins, expecting nothing more than pocket change. Then suddenly, a detail catches their eye, a missing mint mark. Instead of the expected D or S, or even the familiar P, this 1989 Lincoln cent shows nothing. And that tiny nothing was everything. That missing mark, that subtle manufacturing oversight, catapulted this single penny into the elite world of six-figure collectibles. Now, before you think this is just another story someone tells to get your hopes up, let me interrupt you with a quick question. Have you checked your coins lately? You might laugh, but the last person who ignored a penny ended up losing out on the opportunity of a lifetime. If someone offered you $893,000 for a coin you forgot in your kitchen jar, you'd probably run back there right now to double-check, wouldn't you? Now that I have your attention, let's dig into the real power behind this coin's value. You see, mint marks matter. They tell us where a coin came from, and in the world of professional coin grading, they separate the common from the priceless. In 1989, minting technology was extremely consistent, making major errors rare, very rare. So when a 1989 Lincoln cent appears without a mint mark, it's like lightning struck in the same place twice, inside a highly automated mint. Collectors crave rarity, and rarity drives value. But rarity alone doesn't explain the nearly $900,000 price tag. The condition of known examples pushes demand even higher. Imagine a coin surviving 35 years without losing its luster or detail, and doing so while also being a confirmed mint error. It's like the universe saying, "This one is special." And here comes the exciting part. Demand for rare Lincoln cents is rising faster than anyone expected. As more people learn about high-value errors, competition increases. Bidding wars erupt. Prices climb. And suddenly, you realize why right now, this very moment, is the perfect time to check your collection or even start one. Because the people who act quickly are the ones who win big. But before we move into how you can identify this coin and where to sell it for top dollar, let me drop a quick pattern interrupt. Did you know that more Americans lose rare coins and couch cushions each year than find them in coin shops? If that doesn't make you want to flip your sofa upside down, I don't know what will. Now let's transition to the most important moment of this entire video, the part where opportunity meets action. To identify a genuine 1989 no-mint mark penny, you're looking for a clean, crisp absence of any letter beneath the date. Not scraped off, not worn away, just never minted in the first place. The surface should show no disturbance, no signs of tampering. And if you think you found one, do not, and I repeat, do not sell it casually. This is where people lose thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The current market price for confirmed examples is sitting around $893,000, and the value keeps climbing. Coin auctions report increased buyer interest every quarter. Wealth collectors, yes, the ones who compete ruthlessly for these pieces, know the power of owning a rare mint error from a major production year like 1989. It's not just a coin. It's a status symbol, a trophy, a conversation piece worth more than a new home. And here's your cliffhanger, because what I'm about to say may shock you. The U.S. Mint has confirmed multiple unexplained anomalies in late 1980s penny production. Meaning, if a 1989 no-mint mark penny surfaced, others may still be out there, hidden, unfound, waiting. So what if the next one is sitting in your drawer? What if the coin that buys your dream house, funds your retirement, or finally lets you live the wealthy, abundant lifestyle you've always imagined, is already in your possession? It's not impossible. It's more possible than you think. As we close, remember this: Fortunes are not always stumbled upon. They're discovered by people who pay attention. People like you. People willing to look twice at something everyone else ignores. The world is full of unbelievable stories, but the 1989 no-mint mark penny proves that sometimes the most unbelievable stories are absolutely real. So check your coins. Search your jars. And when you find something extraordinary, you'll know exactly where to come back for guidance. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old box of coins you haven't touched in decades, and discovering that a single 1-cent penny you forgot even existed is suddenly worth more than a luxury home. Sounds unbelievable, right? And yet, in today's marketplace, one extraordinary United States Lincoln cent, specifically the 1992 D-Close AM penny, has shocked collectors by reaching a jaw-dropping current value of $832,000. Yes, $832,000 for a coin that most people still walk past on the sidewalk. So before you ever think about tossing spare change aside again, stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal could quite literally transform the value of the coins sitting in your own home. Act 1 begins with a truth most people don't realize. Every generation leaves behind its own treasure, but only a handful actually recognize it before it slips away. And when it comes to modern-era American coins, the 1992 D. Lincoln penny is the perfect example of a rare error so easy to overlook that thousands have probably passed through everyday pockets without a second thought. Yet the few that survived in pristine condition are now worth a fortune. This particular error, known as the close AM, was never meant to appear on circulation coins. It was a production mistake, an alignment anomaly, a moment when the mint's machinery produced something different, something unique, something the collector world now fights for with relentless passion. And that leads us to the biggest fear most collectors face: the fear of missing out on the treasure that was in their hands all along. But before I tell you exactly how to identify this rare error and how the current market demand is exploding, I need you to imagine something. What if the next great coin discovery doesn't come from a professional numismatist, but from someone like you? Someone who simply decides to check the drawer, the old jar of pennies, the dusty shoebox in the closet. Someone who refuses to let thousands of dollars stay hidden in the shadows of everyday life. Sounds empowering, right? Well, it should, because we are now entering Act 2, where the story shifts from discovery to opportunity. Act 2 reveals the powerful truth about the 1992 D-Close AM penny. Collectors are chasing it with a level of urgency we haven't seen in years. Prices are skyrocketing, auctions are heating up, and private buyers are offering staggering amounts of cash, sometimes before the coins even hit public listing. And here's the humorous part. How many times have you seen a penny on the ground and ignored it because it's just a penny? Well, if it were the 1992 D-Close AM, picking it up would be the most profitable squat you've ever done in your life. Funny how the world works, isn't it? But let's stay focused, because the reason this coin is so valuable is simple. Rarity plus demand equals life-changing money. Only a small number of these coins have surfaced in top condition, and collectors know scarcity drives prices up. This is where urgency enters the picture. The longer these coins remain hidden in private homes, the more aggressive the market becomes. Each new discovery only strengthens the belief that there are a few more still out there, waiting, resting, silently building wealth for the person who chooses to look for them. And here's the cliffhanger you didn't expect. The most valuable example found so far was hiding in a completely ordinary coin roll. No special collection, no fancy vault, no professional storage. Just an everyday roll of pennies anyone could buy at a bank. If that doesn't send a jolt of excitement through you, keep listening. Now we transition into the final act, where the story becomes personal. Act 3 is about empowerment, clarity, and the possibility of transforming your future with a single decision. The truth is this: Americans are sitting on millions of dollars in rare coins without knowing it. And the 1992 D-Close AM penny is only one example. But because this specific coin recently hit a valuation of $832,000, it has ignited a nationwide search unlike anything we've seen in modern coin collecting. Collectors with deep pockets are scanning listings daily. Auction houses are preparing for higher stakes. And private sellers, people just like you, are stepping into a world where a tiny piece of copper becomes the key to a wealthier lifestyle. But don't get comfortable yet, Because here's another cliffhanger. Experts believe there are still undiscovered examples sitting in people's homes, and yours could be one of them. So the real question becomes, will you be the person who looks, or the person who finds out too late that the penny they spent years ago could have paid for a new house, a dream vacation, or even a full retirement plan? As we close, remember this: wealth is not only about earning, it is about recognizing opportunity when it quietly sits in your hands. The 1992 D close AM penny is more than a rare coin. It is a symbol of hidden value, of fortune waiting to be claimed, of possibility disguised as something ordinary. And if you're watching this right now, that means you already have the mindset of someone who understands that small things can lead to extraordinary outcomes. So take a moment today. Look through your old pennies. Check the boxes, the drawers, the coin jars. Your next step could lead you straight into a life-changing discovery. Because in the world of rare coins, fortunes don't just belong to the lucky, they belong to the ones who look.